it was horrible. There's nothing to say to justify it. You can't justify it. You can't. You know, I killed Johnny Allen. He's gone.
Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody, everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. So today we're going to be talking about the Cyntoia Brown story. If you guys have not watched the documentary that was recently released on Netflix called Murder to Mercy, you probably should watch that and you guys will be caught up. Kim Kardashian also talked about this in the Justice Project, and then a bunch of like people that were famous reposted this story and talked about Cyntoia Brown, like Rihanna and just other people. Like it was really, really popular. A lot of people were talking about it, and then the documentary was just released. Now, before we get into me telling you guys the story, and there's a lot of different versions of the story, just so you guys know, I want to let you guys know that stay until the end because I have a surprise for you guys sprinkled in here somewhere. You guys are going to want to watch this whole video because I have a surprise for y'all and you're going to really like it. Okay? Okay. Now, Cyntoia Brown grew up really, really rough. She was born to her mom at just 16 years old. So her mom was a baby having a baby, right? And her mom was like really bad on substances, drinking a lot. Cyntoia Brown was born with fetal alcohol syndrome and just like from the get-go had it rough. Cyntoia's mother couldn't really take care of her, so she was bouncing her daughter around, all around, like from this person to this person, and, you know, even went up to somebody and asked them, hey, can you take my child? Eventually, Cyntoia ended up going into foster care, you know, and then ended up being adopted by a woman who loved her very much. But Cyntoia already had a lot of issues, and she was getting into trouble at a young age, started breaking the law, I believe, at 12 years old, and just doing little things. Now, if you guys don't know me, please watch some of my videos so you guys know where I'm coming from here. I really relate to Cyntoia's story from the beginning because I know exactly what that life is like, right? Bouncing around, you know, whatever. But the situation with Cyntoia is she actually did have a woman that loved her very much. She was a school teacher. And she just really went to bat for Cyntoia. I mean, all the way in this documentary, you like can see that she is like waiting for the day that Cyntoia, you know, can have a good life. I won't spoil it for you. Cyntoia, like a lot of young girls do, unfortunately, that live that life, the street life, bouncing around, you know, from house to house and having, you know, addicts around you a lot. They end up in the street life. They end up hanging out with the misfits. And at 16 years old, Cyntoia got linked up with this dude named Cutthroat. Now, the name Cutthroat, you can already probably tell what kind of reputation he's got, okay? Take it or leave it however you want it. And the next thing you know, she ended up being in a hotel with this dude who she originally, I guess, linked up to him. Now, he was a grown behind man and Cyntoia was 16. And originally she said that she kind of looked at him as like a father figure, and then they started sleeping together, or he started sleeping with her, okay? So, and then she started doing drugs with him, and that was just it. They were doing substances, they were in the hotels, they were hitting licks, they were, you know, he had her doing certain things and telling her that, you know, like, you can do this because you're a minor and you won't really get in that much trouble, but if I do this, I'll get in a lot of trouble. And she was looking up to him, right? Like, she, you know, had her daddy issues, she had her abandonment issues, she had all kinds of issues. On top of that, the mental capacity of fetal alcohol syndrome and no real stability. I mean, the adopted mother did try to give it to her, but, you know, sometimes some damage is done, you know? And she's just looking up to this guy. Well, one night they're laying in the hotel and Cutthroat starts telling Cyntoia, like, you're getting lazy. Like, you need to get up off your butt and go get some money. Like, they're running out of substances. And so she went to this area of town where it was like known for streetwalkers. So she's out there, 16 years old, walking the street, waiting, looking around, waiting for a car to come up so she can get in the car and make some money the way streetwalkers do. A vehicle pulls up and it's this guy, and she gets in with him and they start going back and forth, and his name is Johnny Allen, and they're going back and forth about how much money, and she tells him 200 and he says nah, 100, and she says 150, so they settle on 150. So he starts driving and he's talking to her, and he's like, I'm gonna take you to my house. And she's like, okay, you know, whatever. She said she had never had a guy that picked her up for that sort of business deal take her to their house before, but she was like, okay, whatever. So she said while they're driving, like, Johnny Allen is telling her all about himself and about like all these amazing things that he's done, and that he was a veteran, and that now he's a realtor and all this stuff. And she's just like listening to him in the truck, and she's thinking like, okay, you're like this really important person and I'm nobody. Like, I'm just nobody. Like, even if I disappear right now, nobody is gonna know who I am, where I'm at, or even care to look for me. She's like, Cutthroat back at the hotel definitely ain't gonna be calling the police or investigators looking. So she's starting to feel a little awkward on the way to his house. Well, they get to his house and like he's showing her around, showing her his like big house and like all this stuff, and he shows her his gun collection and all this stuff, and she's feeling a little weird, like, okay, you got these shotguns and different stuff like that. And I guess he started trying to rub up on her, and she was like, I don't really, you know, feel good, or I'm tired. Can we take a nap first? And he's like, yeah, sure, we can take a nap. So they lay down in the bed. Now, this is where things get fuzzy, okay? This is why it all was a little crazy. According to Cyntoia, and the only person's opinion or story we can get is hers, is because she's the only one here to tell it. According to her, he has started getting aggressive with her. He grabbed her in between the legs, looked at her with a crazy look in the eyes, and then rolled over to the other side of the bed to get something. And she immediately thought that he was getting a gun, okay? So she took a gun and she shot him in the back of the head and she killed him. Now, forensic scientists and people that investigated the case said that he was sleeping. He was laid on his side with his hands under his head, facing the opposite way, and that he was sleeping, and he got shot in the back of the head while he was sleeping. Now, what makes it even more fuzzy is because whenever she did that, no matter what the reason was before, then she robbed him. She took his money, she took his keys, she drove his vehicle, and she left, okay? Flash forward, she's in the investigator's office telling them what happened. She ends up getting tried as an adult at 16 years old. They adjudicate her as an adult and they sentence her to life in prison. Now, this is why things got so messy online, is because people were saying, you know, like a lot of famous people were speaking up and saying that she was trafficked, or like, you know, it was self-defense, it was this, it was that. Now, Johnny Allen's family is not saying it's self-defense. I mean, they said he was an amazing guy. But at the same time, you know, I'm not trying to judge him for picking up a sex worker. Like, that's your business. But she was 16. Now, some people may say, okay, well, she was 16, maybe he didn't know that. I don't know about y'all, but when you watch the videos, she looks like a baby, okay? So, but, you know, that is such a touchy topic. Now for the surprise real quick. Okay, are you guys ready? We have finally started our podcast. It is Street Smarts. It will be linked down in the description box, and you guys can go over there and hear the uncut version of how I feel and how Jeremy feels. We've got quite a few podcasts over there to get you guys started if you guys want to listen. I'm going to be doing this with a lot of our videos because, you know, YouTube's terms and policies are so wacky now. It's like I can't even say words. You guys know, y'all that have been with me for a while, you know I can't even hardly tell a story, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell the stories over here. I'm going to give my opinions like I typically do, but then I'm going to go over there on the podcast and I'm going to give the uncut version where I can say all the words and say all the things without fear of repercussions from YouTube. So you guys go over there and check out the podcast and you can hear not only my opinion, but Jeremy's as well. I'll give you guys a little bit of a spoiler alert.
Just before 4 o'clock this morning, Cyntoia Brown became a free woman. She was released from prison where she spent half of her life. And this comes months after former Governor Bill Haslam commuted her murder sentence.
I am glad that she got a second chance. I know Johnny Allen's family is not glad about it, okay? I have a lot of mixed feelings on things. I'm not going to lie. I grew up in that lifestyle and I didn't kill anybody, okay? I didn't shoot anybody, you know? There's probably times where I should have defended myself a lot more than I did. I'll be honest with you. There was times where I should have. Now, I mean, not saying I should have hurt somebody like that, but I should have defended myself, okay? So maybe it could go either way. But at the end of the day, I am glad she got a second chance. And if nothing else, she's a voice for prison reform, and she's a voice, and she's going to be an example, another example of what people can do if they get out and there is a reform system and people do change. No, not everybody changes. I get it. But some people do change. I think a lot of people would change. And the thing about Cyntoia is she had people in her corner from day one. Not everybody gets that. Okay, she had, if you guys watch the documentary, there's actual videos of her when she was 16. Like, she had people fighting for her at a young age. And there is millions of people in prison that nobody's fighting for. You know, and that's a problem. There's a million Cyntoia Browns in prison that I think deserve a second chance. No, not everybody that's actually taken somebody's life, but people that are in prison for things that are petty. You know, I know people that have life sentences that did not even hurt anybody. Did not even hurt anybody. Did not even physically hurt anybody. But they are in prison for life. And our tax dollars are paying for that. We're the ones paying for them to be in there. Other people are getting money from that. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that. Y'all know there's opinions on it, and that's what it is. All right, my loves, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you checked out the podcast, what you guys think. I can't wait to hear from you guys. I hope that you are going to enjoy this journey. I'm going to be doing a bunch of different stuff over there, a bunch of different stuff, but we're just getting started, so bear with us. As always, my loves, please do not forget to like this video. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.